Hi everyone, I hope life is treating you kindly. I'm Lubomira and thank you for joining me today. Welcome to all my crafty friends, new and returning. I always look forward to this time of the week when we get together for some crafting fun. If you're new to my channel, I'm so happy you found your way here and I invite you to check out more of my content. I love sharing my projects with you and I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to spend a few crafty moments with me. Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. By hitting that little bell, you'll get notified every time I post something new and you won't miss out on any of the crafty goodness. Today I'm sharing another much anticipated Fake It Until You Make It video where I dive into my stash to recreate the feel of a product that I don't have, but love the look of. I can't possibly own everything I love, but that doesn't mean I can't fake it. In today's video, I'm spotlighting the Simon Says Stamp Flourishing Blooms cover die. Cover dies can get a little pricey, but they do create some very pretty details. This die is no exception. It has really lovely flowers and leaves that drape over the background. I really love this die, but I don't have it, so I'm going to try to recreate it with products I do have. Let's take a closer look at this die. The first thing I notice is the flowers are simple in shape, but they do have etched details. The leaves seem to be holding the flowers in place at the same time filling in the background space. And the whole thing is anchored by a frame. I think I can recreate this look by combining a number of different dies and gluing the pieces together to form the entire thing. I think a frame die to build on top of with some sort of leaves and flower dies to mimic the background should do the trick. Let's see what I can find in my stash. I was able to find these 3 sets that I think will work for what I have in mind. First, I have the Waffle flower rectangle frame. This die will form the foundation to build on top of. I just don't know if I want to do a full background or a smaller accent. Well, we'll get back to that later. Next, I have the falling branch die set from Carta. These are pretty simple branches, and I think they will work nicely to fill in the space in the background, but sturdy enough to hold flowers. Lastly, I found this Aimee etched flower die from Paper Rose. The flower is larger than the inspiration, but overall I think it's going to work nicely. It has that similar shape and simplicity to it. I'm going to start off by die cutting a whole bunch of these off camera. Since I'm creating something out of nothing and I don't have much of a plan beyond the inspiration, I much rather have too many die cut pieces than not enough. I'm also going to use white cardstock because I'm not sure where I'll end up. I can always add color to the white if I like to later on. Let's get to the die cutting and I'll be back soon. I ended up die cutting a lot of these branches since, as I mentioned earlier, I wasn't sure how much I'd need. I made 3 frames and 5 or 6 flowers, although I don't think I'll need so many flowers because they are rather large. I want the piece I end up with to be sturdy, but still have some of that daintiness in it, so I don't want to overfill. I decided on using the larger frame instead of the smaller one. What's nice about building your own background like this is you can customize it a lot more than with a solid background die. I could have made a smaller version of this to be the focal rather than fill the entire background. Like the inspiration, I'm going to use the frame as an anchor to build the branches off of and then place my flowers. I'm layering the frame with 2 layers to give it a little bit more stability. The 3rd frame will go over everything last to hide the branch endings that I glue on. I'm gluing the branches around the frame, layering them to add some stability because they are pretty dainty. I'm also placing them on top of the frame rather than beneath it. I want the leaves to look and feel like they're part of the frame rather than being framed. I know I added only 2 layers of cardstock to that frame, but I didn't want the leaves and flowers to appear too sunken in. I hope that makes sense. Once I have everything in place, I'll add the flowers. My flowers are large and I feel like they'll cover too much of the leaves if I add as many as in the inspiration. Instead, I'm going to add 3 to the design, keeping the number odd for aesthetic reasons. To add a little bit more dimension, I'm going to add some of the other leaves that came with the blossom die by tucking them behind the flowers. I'll attach them to basically the underside of those flowers. The back doesn't have to be neat since you're not going to see it anyway. Okay, I'm really happy with this. My design seems a little fuller. I added more leaves and the flowers are larger, but overall, I think it really resembles the inspiration. Now we'll have to put something together and make an actual card with this. For the background, I'm going to ink blend. By now you know I love making these backgrounds. I chose the Distress Oxide colors Speckled Egg, Tumbled Glass, and Broken China. I'm pretty heavy-handed with the ink, starting off with the Speckled Egg and then adding the Tumbled Glass before the Broken China. I applied each color and then go over the areas where the two colors meet with the lighter and darker shade repeatedly, alternating the two to blend the colors. I know a few of you have asked for more technical videos, and I'm working on something that I'm going to be referring as 101 tutorials. They'll basically be introductions to various card making topics like ink blending, heat embossing, and some others as they come up in conversation. I hope they're going to be helpful, and I should have them out very soon. Now that I'm done, I'm going to add a little gold shimmer to the background using some Distress Spritz in the fossilized amber. I like using the inner tube to apply the liquid. I lightly shake it to sprinkle the splatter over the area. Let's give this a spritz with the nozzle. Oops, well that's not quite what I had in mind. Always do a test run on something other than your project. Not a big deal though. We can dab that up a little bit to make it a little less intense. I'm going to set this aside to dry for a little bit. Using liquid glue, I added the floral frame to the ink blended background and then glued the entire card front to a white card base. For the sentiment, I decided to use a pre-made greeting from Paper Rose Studio. These are the bright days ahead sentiments. There is a wide assortment of greetings for all sorts of occasions. The words are slightly embossed and have a glossy finish. All you have to do is cut them out and then you're ready to go. I'm going to use one of the happy birthday greetings since I need a birthday card. I like the square with the script birthday. I trimmed it with my trimmer and then attached it to the front of my card with foam tape. Lastly, rather than add gems or enamel dots off camera, I die cut 3 of the flower centers from gold metallic cardstock and applied them to the center of the flowers for a little bit more interest. And that's it for this card. I really enjoyed making this card. Do you think we recreated a successful dupe? I see a frame and a background filled with leaves holding some flowers. I think by adding less leaves and layers, the background would appear flatter like in the inspiration. But overall, I don't think it's that far off. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Friends, thank you for spending some time with me today. I always look forward to sharing my videos with you, and I hope you enjoyed them too. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and please leave me those comments. I look forward to each and every one, and they really are a large part of my week. I hope you'll join me next time for another project. Until then, have a beautiful week, and I hope life treats you kindly. See you soon. Bye.